Hello out there, I'm Professor Natalie and I'll be talking about HR trends. There have been many changes in HR in the last 2 decades and they are still changing. As the world becomes more interconnected and global, HR needs to keep abreast of the trends and keep the business responding. I want to present you with a few of the trends going on, and for the discussion this week I would like for you to choose one of these broad topics and drill down to learn about some of the specifics. Focus on the effects worldwide, or at least in another country, and compare it to what we see here in the U.S. workplace. Let me first mention that Global HR Certification, or GPHR, this is a designation issued by the Human Resource Certification Institute, the same folks who issue the PHR and the SPHR. We started seeing this appear in the early 2000s, and even now it is usually only attained by HR professionals working in very large organizations and who work with global workforces. This is not to say you should not pursue the certification. It's just to give you a realistic view of how prominent it is out there. Okay, these first 3 trends you've probably heard of. Number 1, the workforce across the globe is aging. Japanese businesses in particular are feeling the effect since the country has a mandatory retirement age of 60. What would happen if the U.S. required a retirement at this age? Second one is multi-generations. Along with the aging workforce comes the second trend, and this is a workplace with multiple generations. At last count it was 4, and it could soon become 5 generations. The widespread in ages is like working with your great-great-grandparents. The next global trend is perhaps a bit of a surprise. The entire world is facing an imbalance of skills and education. In some areas, such as the United States, we have skills, but not always an education. This is good for low-level work and technical trades, but doesn't help us with the high-tech and complex jobs requiring both formalized education and experience. On the flip side of this are countries like India, which have an abundance of very highly educated workers, but not enough high-skilled jobs. This is why we see people from other countries coming to the U.S. and our jobs being outsourced. No single country has the right mix of skills and education to fill their own jobs. And this leads us to the next topic and trend, immigration reform. How many work visas will the government allow each year? Will they be rescinding current laws allowing dreamers in America? Does our country have any dreamers? DACA. If you would like to learn more, choose this topic for the discussion. The next set of trends are a little newer on our radar, but have been building over time. The first, of course, is the expansion of technology in all forms, which also includes the data that is gathered. We call this compilation of data and use of it in analytics and decision-making as big data. Google big data in HR and see what you come up with. There certainly is a recognition that HR has not done so well integrating its platforms. In my experience, there's usually one system for HR, one for the business, and several mini ones in regional offices or locations in other countries, or a lot of Excel spreadsheets. We need to combine it all into one, and it's expensive, and we really do need to do it. There's also been an upswing in what consumers and employees look for in a company. It probably stems in part to the many unethical actions over the years by companies such as Enron, WorldCom, and more recently data breaches and harassment claims of several big company executives. Consumers and employees want to be part of an organization that is doing the right thing, or at least not breaking the law. But seriously, we are looking at companies who exhibit good, what's called corporate social responsibility, CSR. If you want to learn more about this dynamic, choose this as your discussion topic. The next trend I've offered deals with the overall general sourcing and hiring of workforces today. Gone is the time where we place an ad in the local paper or a help wanted sign in the window, hiring only local people for jobs. We now must widen our net and consider people from all over the world. This is a dangerous side to it, though. When a company goes into a new area, called an emerging market, it's important for everyone to understand the norms and local customs and desires. So while we need to think more broadly, we also need to balance it with this local mindset. If you choose the sourcing topic, feel free to explore things like international work assignments, called expatriate assignments, and the related relocation issues, compensation issues, and labor law issues. You can look into the different minimum wages across the globe and learn which countries have these laws and which don't. You could also explore how we could conduct background checks for a global workforce. Not every country has a national ID system like our Social Security cards, so how would you verify education references, etc.? Last but not least is the ongoing push for gender equality. This is broader than just pay. It involves women being selected for those overseas assignments that they have been typically overlooked for before. It is about policies such as flex time and childcare, and there are so many directions you could take this topic if you choose. That's it for now, everyone. Let me know if you have any questions.